definitely amazed by how many sexual innuendo jokes are in each freaking episode of this series, and they're never usually the same thing over and over. Some of them are forced, but at the same time, they manage to keep it a little bit fresh, even though we get to almost see the same gag over and over. And honestly, I love Seitokai for these actual particular reasons. Have any of you realized that the actual sexual gag jokes have been getting a lot more expressive and more out there than they used to have? I mean, they seem to be more blunt. Way more blunt. You know exactly what I'm talking about, because, I mean, it is just crazy how blunt they're being, especially with the freaking Taka Squid. Now, actually, that was the major thing I was interested in this episode, Taka Squid. Now, we saw a major cliffhanger from the last episode, or a couple episodes ago. We got to see Suda just pretty much holding that freaking, you know what I'm talking about, that freaking hips, and he's like, no, I can explain, Arya, and then pretty much the freaking Taka Squid ended. Well, this finally continues it. We get to see Arya just, you know, being all serious mode, understanding Suda, and then she just runs off screaming and crying and all that. And then you have Suzu find it, and then that cliffhanger. So, I love Taka Squid. It's so freaking enjoyable. It spices up the actual series. It adds something completely different, because it doesn't really fall into the actual plot of the series, even though there really isn't no plot of this series. It pretty much falls into its own category and allows you to enjoy something different. And I love it so far the way Taka Squid's going. I want to see more of that. And so let's talk about some of these gags. For one, the freaking Uomi just looking up Arya's skirt right at the beginning of this episode. I was just like, what? Do you realize she usually goes commando majority of the time? So that was pretty freaking like, what the hell? But I mean, that was probably a freaking awesome part. And a lot of people really liked that scene. A scene that I personally think was freaking funny, though, was definitely the part where the Suda and Suzu were talking about, there's nothing anymore you can surprise us with, Arya. Anything you do now probably won't shock us. And she's like, oh, well, did you know my sweater's actually body paint? I was like, what? What? That's exactly what I thought, too. I was actually with Suzu and Suda when they said that. When they said there's something much more you can surprise me with, and when freaking Arya says something like that, and it's actually true, I was just like, what the else can you freaking shock with me with freaking next? Seitokai Yakuindomo is definitely the master of sexual gags, and this anime is so unique for that, because you don't see a lot of anime wanting to go in this direction, because usually this would be frowned upon in the anime industry, and I think that's what makes actually Seitokai so popular with such a wide audience. I would not recommend this actual show to probably younger kids, and it's really obvious why I wouldn't, but this show definitely has a spot in my heart for a gag anime. And the animation of this season 2 is definitely a step higher than the first season. I can really tell the actual difference of the quality, especially in the backgrounds. The backgrounds of this episode seem so fluid, so much better, and really it complements the characters. I mean, look at the actual amusement part of this episode right towards the end, and if you look at those backgrounds, don't tell me that does not look realistic. The drawings look really realistic. It's like they took a freaking photo shot of the actual amusement park and just kind of traced it. I don't think they did that, but it's really amazing of how good quality it is. And I noticed the actual animation quality really stepped up in the second half of the episode. We also, Hata, she gets another appearance this episode. I know she's been having a lot more appearances than she's had in the last season, which is good, because Hata is my favorite character, because the way she acts, the way she just goes all around taking scoops, putting down random memos, like, oh, just different stuff on the entire episode and the entire series. Hata has earned my respect. And honestly, episode was good. Another great episode. Not much progression in the romance department like I thought from last episode, but that doesn't matter. I watched Seitokai Yakuindomo just for, as you all know, it's gags, and that's probably what you're all watching it for too. So, can it keep it up? Can season 2 of Seitokai actually keep up the hilarious moments of the series, or will it fall into the pit of sadness and not be able to make us laugh? We'll have to find out the way the series will be able to progress. Judging by this type of series, I want to say it's going to be another 12-episode series or 13-episode series. So hopefully it'll leave on, I guess, a good cliffhanger, or at the very least, kind of conclude the series. It looks like we're getting on to Volume 5, Chapter 95 and 96 next week, because that's what they said in the actual preview. So anyways, pretty excited. Tell me what you think about this episode. What did you think was your favorite gag of this episode? You have a wonderful day or not, wherever you live. Please stay safe. Chibi out.